going on, YouTube world? Welcome to R2F Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Richard. People have been asking, what does R2F stand for? Return to form. Basically, my motto is bringing back to basics to get the foundation. So, just got an update. Co-host will be joining me shortly. Amin Allah. He's running behind. He was in Vegas, so we have some exciting content to share. So you have me for now until we dive into the nitty gritty. So, what did you take away from the Olympia? I took away a lot. I've spoken to a lot of people. First off, to all the producers and people behind the scenes who put on the Olympia event, tremendous. Well done, Jake Woods. Without you, we don't know if this would even continue or be here, the Olympia. Big fan of the women's bodybuilding, and what a show Andrew Shaw put on. We'll get into that later, of course. But let's talk about the crowds, the hype up. It was. I watched it, and I wasn't there live, unfortunately. But yes, I streamed it. Got to give out my support, and I was amazed. Um, the one thing I will say, they need to do something about the format. The timing is just either running too long. Why are the men bodybuilding going on so late? Like I said, I'm not behind the scenes, but what I would like to see formality change. Maybe have an intermission where the men come on after women's prejudging or something. I don't know, give a little taste and go back because it's a long format. It's a long day, right? So we need to do something about that. Um, what else? Let's talk about. I don't want to share too much until the mean gets on, but he's got some great content and stories. I was listening to a lot of interviews, and hats off to Derek Lunsford. Took it off the chin. We all know coming in as a repeat champion, it's very challenging. It's tough. People are gunning for you, right? And you want to bring your best. You can see it in his demeanor that he wasn't happy, of course. The package just wasn't what he wanted it to be. It happens. We can't hit peak every single time. Me personally, I think the downside to it was I know you're Mr. Olympia, but you got to do more shows. I think bodybuilding has evolved and changed, and the bag is out there, right? You just sit back and say, I'll do one show a year. What you're telling your body is, okay, I need you to peak at this certain time and just be ready. It's a lot of pressure. Like things can happen during the 12 months or however long it takes you to prep. But if you do shows, you can see, you can tweak things. Your body gets more comfortable. Prime example, Samson. Samson did how many shows? The last couple of years, like 13. It was like holy in a span of 2 years, or it's like wow. People ridiculed him from doing the France show. We are not Samson. We're not his coach Marlena. They had a game plan. It worked out. So what you saying now? You can't say shit because we weren't there. We can only speculate. Well, it's a mistake. They shouldn't do it. Me personally, I think it was a good move, but a risky move. Why? Is because something goes wrong. That's more heat. You gotta backlash. You gotta deal with, right? We told you so, not negativity. But if you're strong-minded and you have focus, excuse my French, fuck the naysayers. I keep it real filter here. It's straight and direct. We say things that many people just are afraid to say. Um, on that note, geez, I'm just gonna wait till Mean gets here because he's got some exciting news. What's your feedback? What's your take on the Olympia? Do you feel it was well put on? Did you get the real vibe of I want to maybe go to Olympia next year? I will be there next year, hands down, just because the atmosphere and who knows, maybe I'll even be on stage. that's for another topic. We'll be prepping. We'll be stepping back on stage. Everything's going according to plan. Just working out the kinks. What else, folks? A couple things I want to share. First off, I want to give a big, smooth shout out, like to Lola. This girl is a warrior from Canada. What I mean, a warrior, she has gone through walls, over barriers. We need to give her the respect she deserves. She's Canadian. She's a hell of an athlete. Won the Arnold, and it's like, where's the love? Yes, I know she's with Mutant and doing things now, but that should have been done from time. So, people, Lola Montez, look her up. We chilled at the Toronto Pro Show. We discussed things. I'll tell you one thing right now, 2025, get your popcorn ready, girls and boys. She's coming in. She's going to make a noise. Her and her coach and I talked. They got a game plan, so be ready. It's gonna be nice. Um, Up and coming people are coming in now. As Classic is open because of the retirement of C-Bomb. It was heartfelt. It was one of those where you're like, oh, we knew it was coming. He has nothing more to prove. And people say, well, he'll come back to do the open. What for? There's no need to. Like, you solidified your name. Boom. Creme de la creme. Leave it at that. He's giving back. What more do you want from him? Like, he's got a family now. He's been there, done that. He is the classic division. No disrespect to Breon. And I apologize, I forgot his name. The first person who won the classic title. Great guy, great individual. I'm bad with names, faces. Um, he opened the door, and now Chris slammed the door shut and said, "Hey, come see me. It's 6 titles. That's impressive. It's hard to win one, come back to win two to repeat, and then three is like, okay, you're established. Then 4, 5, and 6, not more to prove. I'm out. Ghost. Deuces." That's what he said. But I like what he said at the press conference. Um, the fitness industry is $1 billion sport, people. And when you have men's open bodybuilding getting 600,000, kudos to Samson, get that bag. And then you got 212 making 90,000, or I don't know the exact figure. Something's wrong here. What's going on? Like, that's a big gap. Like, they're bodybuilders, they're putting in a lot of work. All the categories put in a lot of work. It's not easy prepping, expenses. It's not a sport where you're making money. There's not a lot of rich people in this sport, but it's a sport where things need to come together. So I know prize money is going up. Chris is going to be donating to Classic. Um, Sarah Vegas, who won, I know she's done well for the sport as well. She gives back to the women's division and prize money, which is great. Cindy Gillen putting on shows. So things are changing now for the better, which is good. Long overdue, but let's wait and see, right? Um, what else? Let's see. Main should be popping in any second now. I don't know what the holdup is, but we shall just see. Um, what else I want to talk about? Oh, another shout out. Did you guys see when Samson won? Who was the first person that just football tackle, loose ball, get it? William Bonac. Brother, salute to you. That shows true, genuine character saying, hey, we're a band amongst men, we're brothers, we're in the trenches. That's true love and support. My opinion, I don't think it's is truthful as it is. That evening, it showed how much caring they were. And there was another clip there backstage. I think it was Samson, his wife Marlena. William and Andrew, and they were just bonding. That's good to see. Like when you're on stage, cutthroat. There's no friends here. But when you're backstage, all right, you know what? I see you. What's up? You know, we chill. But once we're stepping up to the stage, me personally, we ain't friends until let's do battle. Once battle is done, we can break bread. That's just how I am. I know back in the days, the commodity was much closer. You see guys train together in gold with Ronnie, Dexter. Well, not so much Ronnie because Ronnie was in Texas. He did his own thing. But at Gold's Gym, you had Dexter. You had Chris Cormier, Flex Wheeler. Those guys were like, you can tell they're band of brothers, and they broke bread. They broke bread. Let's just call it what it is. They broke bread. But when it came to the shows, it's just now it's hey, you do you, and I'll do whatever to give you a little misinformation because I want to win. It's not a bad thing. It's you got to use your brain. Is this person being genuine, or this person try to slip me the old slipperoonie? So that's my point. Let's see. There's something else I want to talk about. Let's go into one of the picks. Let me share my screen. What I noticed was this was an epic pick. When I seen this pick, I'm like, screensaver. Let's see if I can pull it up. Boom. Now, people, you're telling me he didn't come in condition? What the F are you looking at? Come on now. You tell me. I know what I see. He brought it. He didn't have this deep cuts like Derek Lunsford or you guys wanted to have, but he improved his body type to his overall symmetry. It's a win-win. That's like, hey, I brought the smoke. I improved from shoulders to ankles, complete. And I'll be the first to say it. Not too many black people have calves. Either you have them or you don't. I see some calves over there. I don't know what you're looking at, but I see some calves. So that's a step in the right direction. Sweep, boom. Abdominal, boom. Arms are there. Maybe not as brown and popping like how haughty or this and that, but hey, we're not haughty. He's Samson. He's Mr. Olympia champion. He knocked out 2 champions, knocked out 3 champions, if you think about it. So, hey, I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm saying. Boom. Kudos. I know a lot of the old timers are saying, yeah, but he didn't bring in the crisp conditioning, and they're comparing him to back in the days. We're not in the back of the days. Let's talk about the present. Times have changed. Training has changed. It's involved. Enhancements has changed. Like I said, it's a whole new ball game, right? So what he's done in the past 3 years since I first seen him on stage, tremendous improvements. He's only getting better and better. So on that note, I think he's going to do some damage. I'm going to send another invite to him and see if he's there, because I don't know where he's at. 1 second, folks. We are live, so like I said, we just keep it 30 until he pops in. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only is in the building. Welcome, Amin.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
I was
Still
just telling
recovering from the long weekend.
I was just telling everybody at home that he's been busy traveling on a long weekend. He was there, so give him some time. He's human, folks. You know, it was a big travel.
I did not sleep Saturday night.
What?
I had an early flight Sunday morning, so I didn't get any sleep.
You just painted the town red.
Yeah, but I thought I was young.
Hey, as long you're young in the mind still. That's it, brother. You're young in the mind.
Met a lot of good people there.
Yes.
Got to see Rolly's tricep in real life. That was really cool. Even though he's not as jacked as he was, I think his tricep is still bigger than anybody else's.
Jeez, what a monster! I remember seeing him at the Toronto Pro way back, and he walked by. I'm like, I came up to him and said, Rolly, I just gotta poke you and make sure that you're real because you look like a character.
Hey, I don't know if you thought this, but I'm a short guy, and a lot of these guys are shorter than me. And I really was like, I thought like Brandon may be my height. I don't think he's that much taller than me. I think I might be. I'm taller than Samir, which I was surprised, but I think he's got back issues.
Okay.
But no, just a lot of these guys. Like I know I'm Dexter's height. I know that. But a lot of the
Mhm.
other guys, you don't think that they're Dexter's height, but they really are. Like Brandon's really not that much taller than Dexter. You may not realize it, but that's how it is.
I didn't. Oh, really? He looks taller, like a 5'10",
Derek is
5'11".
shorter than me. Hottie's a little bit shorter than me, or might be around my height.
I know Hottie Short. I seen him in Vancouver when he was here.
Derek is shorter than Hottie.
That I heard. I think he's 5'6", if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but that's what honestly they all say that, but I'm supposed to be 5'6" and I'm taller than them, so whatever. Anyway,
Okay.
it was great seeing all of them. You know, a lot of them friends from before again, and meeting new people. It was a lot of fun.
Good. Just before he popped in, I was just talking about Samson now, and all I was saying was, since he came in from 2019, the changes he's made are tremendous, and people are still saying, well, he's not as conditioned as hamstrings are deep.
So let's talk about that for a second because I want to explain. I predicted Derek to win on Friday night, and the reason I said that was because of all of the poses. What they did was very different in this year's judging. I've never seen before. In the symmetry round, in the quarter turns, they asked for a rear delt bicep. They usually don't ask for it. As a matter of fact, I've never seen them ask for a compulsory pose in the symmetry round, and they only asked for one pose, and in that pose, Derek beats everybody. So I thought that they were using that to justify him winning.
Okay.
I didn't think he was the best. I just thought that's what the judges were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was really split between Hottie and Samson. If you think about it, I think the current standard of judging would have had Hottie in above Samson. However, if we go back to the way judging was when Lee Haney was in, Rich Gaspari was smaller and more shredded, and Lee Haney was bigger and taller and not as shredded, but he won every single time. So this is actually the way bodybuilding should be judged. That's the way it should. It may not be the way it was judged last year, but then again, his condition really put him a little bit ahead of everyone else. He was a little drier at the night show than pre-judging than at the night show, I think. But they had him in solid third. Hottie, I think, even improved between the pre-judging and night show. But, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, bodybuilding has always been about size, symmetry, definition, and all that. And if they go by this standard, Samson won't lose. Samson's not, unless he's off from where he was. And mind you, he didn't even have shredded glutes. So this is the way it should be. Lee Haney didn't have shredded glutes. Rich Gaspari did. Lee Haney still beat Rich because for the most part, he was in very good shape. And he was in phenomenal shape. And Samson also was in phenomenal shape. And the improvements that he made from last year to this year were great. Everyone made improvements. I don't know if Hottie made that much more improvements from the Arnold. It was really close. He again brought great condition. And I think at the night show, they had to decide between the two. Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to first and second,
right,
Hottie stood there and looked at Samson the exact same way that he looked at Derek. But what was different was the whole crowd was screaming Samson.
That's what I heard. You didn't hear
they were like Samson, and I even with Hottie's hearing problem, he knew it. He knew it, and he could be sore about saying, well, I could have been bigger too. Hottie, you can be bigger, but you're not going to beat Samson if you're bigger. Because as a matter of fact, if Hottie decides to try to chase Samson, so Hottie, if you see this, listen to me. I didn't get to say this to him on Saturday night. It wasn't the right time, but if you see this is what I'm saying. If Hottie tries to chase anyone in size, he will even place lower than second. He won't even place second. Other people will beat him. Okay. He has to stay true to what his best is, which is conditioning, because he's not going to ever be big enough to beat Samson. Now, Samson, he could still improve dramatically. He could put on 15 more pounds of muscle if he wanted to. That probably would be the most. He could do that in about 4 years, like Ronnie did. It could be like 3-4 pounds the next year. I don't think he's going to get beat, man. Because if he gets lines in his glutes, he's even better than he was, and then he's light years ahead of everyone else. So I think he's very humble. He's very nice. I met him. I thought he was really, really cool guy. He remembered me, which is cool. I like him. He's a good dude. And Andrew also, he remembered me. He's a good guy. I think I heard some things about Andrew that may explain why he is the way he is. I don't think he really understood bodybuilding until like last year. From my understanding, after the Texas Pro the year before last, he went back to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And he just went off his diet. His mother fed him. He was clean. And then he just got ready for that show in 6 months. Not this last one, the year before. And then Chris apparently had a talk with them and explained to him that, you can't do that in bodybuilding. You got to have a real off season and so forth. And I think this last year he did that. He was size-wise, he was very impressive. Okay. Could Andrew beat Mr. Olympia? Andrew could maybe even beat Samson at the Arnold Classic. It's possible. If Andrew can, get in better condition, then he could give Samson a run for the money. He could.
Here's my take. First off, great points. I met Samson at the Full Out Show, and his aura was just so humble and positive. And I think we lost him. You still there?
Yeah, hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, so, like I was saying, very humble, and we talked for a bit. And when I stood beside him and chatting, he was just so down to earth. And I said, "You're gonna make some noise in this industry." And he responded like this: "I'm just doing my job, something that I love to do." And that was it. I'm like, wow, this guy's gonna be a force. Now, when you say the comparison with him and Andrew, I see the similarities. And they're saying Andrew was so big, but when they stood beside each other, Andrew didn't look that much bigger than Samson.
Andrew's just a little bit wider in the clavicles. He's not that much bigger than. As a matter of fact, Samson is right now bigger than Andrew. He is. Yeah, Andrew has the potential to beat Samson, but today, right now,
no,
Samson's ahead.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's skip forward now to. So you agree with the placings, how it was done? The placing was no issue on the placings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. At the night show, understanding that the judging criteria was what it is, then the judging was consistent. It was consistent with the what they should have been doing really all along. But like I said, last year Samson wasn't as impressive as he was this year. And this year, listen, his legs are just amazing. They may not, and by the way, for the first time in history, I think Hadi Chopin lost the most muscular for the first time in history, because when they did them, we're so used to seeing Hadi's shreddedness that it's not like, holy shit, we've already been holy shit by him. We've already been holy shit by Derek's rear dole bicep, but we have not been holy shit by Samson's front double or front most muscular like this. He looked so perfect, so statuesque, so that, he didn't have to have those striations in his chest, because he looked so much more like a trophy should look.
All right. So on that note, so we covered the open bodybuilding. Let's move to 212. We talked about this in the previous cast.
I think, I'll tell you this. Samson was watching the 212 with Andrew, and on their way out to go back to the other hotel, I ran into them. I ran into Andrew first, and then Samson kind of came up, and then all three of us were like chilling up to the front. They're very nice people. I mean, for some people who just know me from the internet and stuff like that, they were very, very kind to me, very, very friendly, very cool. I mean, this is before prejudging, and we're hanging out. I walked Samson and his wife to the car, just because I wanted to, they were alone. People were kind of harassing him, so I thought, well, if I walk with them, maybe people won't bother as much. Yeah. And they were happy. They were cool. She wasn't very. She's very quiet, but she's
Mine,
she had a lot on her mind. You could tell she was very focused. And
focus.
I like she was so focused. You could tell that he was able to relax. She took the stress off of him. It just like a good wife and a good coach would do. She did a great job. I mean,
Hand
what,
in hand.
who else can you just say, hey, you know what, man, my wife has got this. I mean, we've never seen it before, but that doesn't mean that this isn't great. I think it's great
Amazing, yeah.
because she knows him really well.
100%.
Now, could she improve? Could she look? Sure. And I'm sure, just like with any coach and their client, they get better and better and better as the time goes by. The question is if, and I don't know this, I have my own opinions about this, but I don't know this. But if it's a matter of some unknown knowledge that she may not have about a diuretic or something, or a depletion or something that may actually get him shredded glutes, not that he needs that. Now, we all know that, but let's just say, he's striving for perfection, and, that maybe she does know how to use these things but hasn't, or maybe she doesn't know how to use them and doesn't feel like she needs to. And if that's the case, maybe they can win without doing it, or if she knows how to do it and she doesn't want to, maybe it's because she truly loves and cares about her husband. Which, again, I'm not thinking that these things are dangerous. They can be. I'm not saying they're dangerous, but look, they won and they didn't have to go that drastic. And I think, honestly, fuck the crowd. It's about his health. It's about him coming back better 100%. Next year. Yeah. I mean, listen, they can always do that if the pressure turns on, but he's got this. They're not going to be Derek can be 1,000% at his best. Hadi can be 1,000% at his best, and Samson can be at 95% and win every time. So if a man doesn't have to be 100% to win, I mean, more power to him, man.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
By the way, it's people like Samson that's the reason I don't compete. That's the reason I stopped competing when I was in my 20s. I got a couple of these guys, one of them being Don Long, another one being Tony Freeman, but the main one being Big Rod Smith. And those of you who know him, you know what I'm talking about. That you understand that you don't have these type of genetics.
Yeah, it plays a big role. Genetics plays a big role.
I mean, listen, I'm 51. I look good. I mean, this is a large shirt. I look good, but these guys, they can go in the gym. They can do chest. They can eat twice, and then they grow. And they grow just lifting the weights. They grow. Whereas if I lift weights and I eat twice, I'm sore for a week and I overtrain, and it just doesn't work. Everything for me had to be lined up perfectly for me to grow. I had to eat meticulous. I had to do everything right.
Yeah, they're just
now when I help these, helping guys with superior genetics, they didn't have to do all that. They could fuck up. They didn't take all the drugs. They didn't eat the right way, and they still would look phenomenal. And my carb depletion, the Hell Week that I invented that worked so great for me, it worked so much better on Don Long. It made me mad, because then I realized that that's what good genetics are, and I never had them. I just had science. Now, when you apply science to good genetics, like if I had, and I don't want to say this because, again, I don't know what she knows, but I'm assuming that she doesn't know how to do some of the things that I do, because not very many people do.
Yeah, but that's for another topic. Because, like I said, that's for something where we got to dive into more of a comparison of knowledge. Let's just talk about what's in front of us right now, and I want to talk about the 212 class. I know we touched upon it last time about Clarita and Keon and Clarita being really dry, and the outcome, I think it was just apples and oranges, no comparison, in my opinion. But what's your thoughts?
I think Keon Pearson won't be touched. I think Sean Clarita will never beat him again. His clavicles aren't wide enough. Keon's too far ahead. Sean can't get bigger and look better, because he did, and his waist will only be more. He can't beat him. And I think, like Samson said, I hope that man stays in the 212, because he's going to be a problem for us. That's exactly what he said, and he's right, man. If Keon decides to go into the open, he could pull a Derek if he wanted to. He could be another. Yeah. But he's saying, and I met him, really another great guy.
He'll stay for a while. He'll be there for a couple of years in that division.
I think so, because he's not even 212. So he might as well just go ahead until he can't be 212 anymore, like Flex Lewis. And then when he can't be 212 anymore, and then go ahead and go up. And that way he'll just, it's possible that combined, because of his age, if he doesn't get injured, and
Right.
and he's a really nice guy, so I'll pray for him. It's possible that this guy, the prodigy, he could have more total Sandow's Olympia titles from 212 combined in the future. I'm projecting than anyone in history. I honestly think that this guy at now, I think he's unbeatable. I think if he stays in 212, he'll be unbeatable, undefeated as long as he wants. And I think because his coach, they know what they're doing. And then the minute he crosses over, because he'll be, look, imagine him with 10 solid pounds more. He's going to win the Open.
Yeah.
He's going to win the Open.
It's just like I said. I think with Keon, he just had to find that right formula with a coach that he believes in, has a good rapport. Like I said, his fiance does his training and his meals and diet.
Him too, yeah.
Patrick.
Fantastic.
Patrick puts everything else together, so they all work together.
The three people are let's go. I'll give you the four people that I was most impressed with their condition would be. Martin just surprised me in general. So let's just go with that, okay? But in the classic, you know, Mike and Chris both look phenomenal. I mean, incredible condition. And in the Open, or obviously Hadi, but in 212, Keon, his conditioning may have been the best in the entire show. He had the glute striations all the way up into the front of the hip.
Near deep, yes.
You know, Bumstead had that also, and Mike also had that. They were like the only ones in the competition that had the glutes all the way, like that whole look like that. It was very impressive.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's why I got to my next page. Sebum, and people are saying Urs should be the next in line. Could have been, but I don't see that fullness with Urs to be something that's
Mike has got too much muscle, and Mike has better shape. Period. Mike is really going to be the future of this division. I mean, because he looks like he has, I don't know, what's hard to explain it. He really has a complete physique. You know, he's just, for his height, he's got the right shoulder width. He's got a great ab and thigh. I think he's very complete, and I don't think that Urs can beat him if they're on.
Okay. So do you think can Ramon Dino come back next year and make some changes and give a run?
Ramon Dino has a pretty physique. I think at the end of the day, these guys, okay, here's what separates everyone when they're on the stage. It's how little water is between the skin and the muscle. At this level, they're all lean. They're all very lean. The top five guys, I mean, obviously Mike and Chris were a little bit more, but they're all really lean. So what can make Ramon beat Mike? If he's drier and drier without being flat. So any one of these guys could potentially win. However, Urs, I think, was in the best condition he could have been, and his shape isn't as pretty as either Mike's or
Chris's.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think he could be the next one in line. In regards to winning those titles like Chris, I don't think we'll see someone winning.
It's going to be Ramon or Mike, I think, with the Arnold Classic. We'll see. The good thing about these guys is that they can really compete more than once a year. I think they should, you know.
Okay. So let me ask you a question now. Since you being there at the Olympia, and people have been talking about the timing of why are men going on so late. What's your thoughts in regards to bodybuilders going on so late? Should they go on a little bit earlier because of the size and what they're carrying? What's your take on that?
I think prejudging should be done in the morning. That's just my opinion. It's never going to be that way, but if you want to see the driest physique in the world, it's got to be in the morning. They got to be able to wake up and hit the stage before they put anything in their body so they can stay as dry as possible. And if they eat anything, it's got to be something that's quick and doesn't really sit in their stomach long. They need to wake up dry. Once you start drinking water, or if you know, you're never the same as you are first thing in the morning. So that's my opinion. But I also think that everything should be focused and centered around bodybuilding. I understand that's not great for the ticket sales or maybe for the audience, but who gives a shit? The tickets are already sold, so it doesn't really matter. But the audience clears out after bodybuilding, so what?
Right.
You know, there's so many women, and even classic physique. There's so many people in classic physique that I don't know, man. it just makes it so long and drawn out that I find it hard
65
for the
guys.
guys to
Yeah,
time it right.
65 guys in classic. Like that's I
It
don't
was
know.
Nuts.
That's insane. So
It
you
was
being
nuts.
yeah, you being a fan of bodybuilding and the growth and time, what's your thoughts on look at I believe it was in women's bodybuilding. Did you see any of the women's bodybuilding by any chance?
Yeah, I saw it. I think that it was good that she won again, because she should have won, but it was kind of close. But again, you could see she had a better body. She had a better
Right.
physique. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to look at it and I was just like, Andrea really she brought it different from the Phoenix show. She put definitely some size on, and she changed coaches from her last show. She went to a new coach with 6 weeks to go, so that's pretty risky. But the
She was
show did good.
confident.
Yeah,
And Samson was confident. Samson was I honestly do, when he took his shirt off at the press conference,
what's your take on
I,
that? Yeah,
I thought he was flat. I didn't think he looked good. I was
right.
like, I don't know, man. Should we be worried? I
No,
honestly was like, I saw him out of the top four. I really did. So for him, I mean, listen, there comes a time where I'm obviously not going to sit here and lie and tell you guys something that's not true.
hmm
I mean, he really shocked me. I really didn't. And to be quite honest, he just looked much better with the paint and the oil than his skin. Like I think it needs all that stuff to make him look really good. And he probably was a little flat at the thing. Everyone was talking
yeah.
smack because he was at this shooting guns
Well,
when he
that's
got
it.
there.
But you know what? Here's my motto. At the end of the day, we don't know what anyone's cortisol levels. If they're in a chill mood,
That's
that's what they
it.
put.
You said it. Everybody else is stressed out. Everybody else is in their room worried and shit like that. This motherfucker's out there having a great time. I like it, dude. I really
Yeah.
do. I like it.
So yeah, I think it
I
worked
mean,
in his
granted, listen, everyone's like, well, he doesn't look like he's suffering. You know what? He won the Olympia without having to suffer like those other guys. That tells you he is
yeah.
the best in the world. Because if you have to suffer to beat a man like that and you win, congratulations. That's
Mhm.
would have been like Hottie. That would have been like
Right.
Derek. You know what I'm saying? But when this guy comes and brings it just enough to beat you guys, no matter what you do, you're not going to beat him. And that's
That's
bodybuilding, man. He should win, just like Rich Gaspari should never beat Lee Haney and didn't. And that's why I think he won't be beaten now.
agreed. Agreed. So with the prize money going up, and now with C-Bum retiring, he's going to be giving back to the classic division. That the pay gap, in your opinion, like men's open was 600,000, 212 I believe was 90,000, and then classic 50. Like that's a big gap.
Well, listen, the promoters, they've been working on increasing it. They are increasing it every year. It's come a long way. I think it's going to get a lot better. I think this year, I think there'll be a lot more sponsors because the 60th anniversary was a real great show. I think bodybuilding in general and fitness has moved up. It's going to be more marketable. It's going to be easier to promote. We're going to draw a bigger crowd, and there'll be more people in the gyms. There'll be more people involved in fitness and health than ever before. And it's this new year that's going to be coming up. I believe that people are aware about the food they eat. I think people are aware about their health. They understand that exercise is good for you. They understand that resistance training is helpful to help you
Right.
live longer. And I think Jake Woods and Dan Solomon did a great job and will do a great job. I think we will see Mr. Olympia at $1 million prize money in the next 5 years. I think in the next 5 years, before probably less, maybe 4. Okay, and I think next Arnold Classic is going to probably go up to maybe 750, and we're going to see probably like a possibly $100,000 or $150,000 increase between the shows until they get to that $1 million point. I believe the Olympia will be the first to do the million. I think it's something that they all probably know that's how it'll be, the first $1 million Olympia. And I think that all the other categories will also subsequently increase in their payouts too, which they should. I mean, classic physique should be getting more. 212 should be getting more. I agree that Mr. Olympia should have the biggest prize money, but these are all people that worked extremely hard to win their categories, just as hard as the people in the open. You know, they worked as hard. They may not have as much muscle, but they worked just as hard. You can't say, listen, Chris Bumstead's shape was so unbelievable that you can't say that he shouldn't get paid maybe the same as Hadi, 250,000. I think he should have got that. He looked nuts. He looked nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, his chest, the side leg of Chris Bumstead is up there in a different way, but up there with Sean Roden's side leg, who I think might have been the best side leg in the history of the sport.
Really?
Sean Roden's side leg was very impressive. And Chris Bumstead's side tricep, side chest, the side of his leg is as impressive to me. And I think it was the most impressive in the whole show because of the detail that he has in the quad, the glute, and the hamstring. And that's why he's unbeatable. His side chest is perfect. It's picture perfect, you know? And you look at him the first year when Breon beat him, he had no back. None. He had no glutes. Yeah, he was small. He's really done a phenomenal job taking it to the next level. And unless I don't know if Wesley can beat Mike, but I think it's going to be interesting to see them two go back and forth. But I want to talk about this really quick before we go.
Of course, yes.
Hey, did you watch Wesley? Did you watch his the day before? Okay, listen to me. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing in the Dutch, okay? Maybe they know some shit that old Guru Amin doesn't know. I'll give it to them. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? I'm not used to seeing competitors use supplements like whey protein that have flavors in them and stuff like that, even non-flavored whey protein. Yeah, the day before the show. Stroop waffle, a designer protein. I'm sure it tastes phenomenal. I'm actually interested in finding out what this guy's eating. I want to try his little drip and all that shit. But you don't do that before the show. And honestly, he wasn't dry. And I'm not going to say one way or the other. I thought he could have looked really good, but there was two things about Wesley Vissers that have me concerned that I want everyone to hear this, okay? I don't think you should look that good that far out, okay? Agreed. I don't think you should look that good and hold it. I don't think you can. I don't think you can. He looked peaked in some of the videos he did in the gym. Where was there room to improve? And then he shows up at the show. Oh, we're actually 2 pounds less. Dude, you lost it. That was the 2 pounds of fullness you needed, but you danced on the fine line too long. And on that dancing fine line, it's easy to dip because there's no reserves. No reserves. So you just dip a little bit, like you think 200 calories less when you're like that. Dude, that's like a pound of muscle. You don't realize it, but it is, you know? So that's one. Two, these guys in their supplements, not just him, but also Evogen. What do they do? I can't say Hadi. Hadi was in great condition, so I didn't see him. But I saw Derek drinking these things, whatever, Hadi's products, pump pre-workout shit days before the show. So I don't know what this stuff is about. They do look in phenomenal condition. It's not the way that I do it. I talk to a lot of people. Some people actually think that it's fake. They think it's marketing. They don't think that they really, go through with it might be water they're drinking, that they're doing it for marketing. I don't really know because I see it's a different look except Hadi still has a granite dry look. But again, I didn't see him eating these supplements. I saw Derek using Evogen supplements in the videos before he worked out. He drinks some pre stuff, like a little cap or something he poured it, whatever. I don't know what it is, but some stuff like that. And I'm just saying, man, I really think that the bodybuilders of the 90s, they had a different look. It was before people I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like it took a lot more growth and this more growth and these higher carbs and this insulin, this full look that these guys have, keep them from getting these fine lines. Like not a single person in bodybuilding I've seen had a rear lat spread like Dorian Yates where it just was dry and shredded. Okay, yeah, Ronnie's was close. Okay, right. Flex's was really close too. But again, we're talking about that era. Nobody these days has that. For as big as Derek's back is, he doesn't have those striations.
When they're backstage though and doing their pump up, you need a vasodilator just to get that extra pump to bring out the fullness. So they got to take like maybe a pre-workout or something to get
that's at the show backsstage. But protein powder, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, protein maybe makes no sense.
artificial sweetener. To me, that makes me hold the film. Like, I mean, I can see it's a slight difference.
Yeah.
The skin just looks a little bit like more puffier
Okay.
than it wouldn't. But I can tell the difference between I wake up in the morning and each hour later, because you're rested, your cortisol, everything's
Yeah.
dry,
Yeah.
and then each hour that goes by, you start to retain. So, I think
I think we need another topic on supplementation and what's the importance of it and how to use it. I don't think a lot of people know the importance or know how to use it properly and effectively for a show. I think that's
oh,
the topic.
and also, whether or not it matters, because maybe they're taking diuretics to where it doesn't make a difference. I don't know. It's just not what we did. But anyway, moving on. Um, the after the show, there was a party upstairs on the rooftop. They had top quality food. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. It was buffet style, but it was very good. The roast beef was the food was really good. Surprisingly, like for something like that, it was good. Pretty much everybody was there. I didn't see Derek. I didn't see Hadi, but maybe they were there and they left, but maybe not. I don't know.
I know Derek said he wanted to go back and just be with his daughter and just unwind. So emotional.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, and I saw Hani. I know, he had to be there kind of. I didn't see Chris Bumstead, but it was more for like the old schooler guys. Like, Dexter was there, everybody else was there. It was cool.
Okay.
Samson came, Andrew was there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, any last words before we go and dive in to another topic next time?
I can't wait to see the Arnold Classic, guys, and I mean it. This is something that's happened since Big Ramy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But each year it's just getting better and better, and it's kind of like hard to think because last year what made it so interesting was the fact that Derek won. That was like, wow, the shorter guy just won. You know what I mean? And now this year it's like we got a real Mr. Olympia that looks could win for years, right? Now, what's going to happen at the Arnold Classic? You know what I mean? It's going to be this same lineup again. Derek is going to do it. Hadi's going to do it. Andrew.
How about this? What about Nick Walker? Will he do it? Will he be ready, you think? Or can he be ready in that time? Or no?
If Nick Walker retires right now, his best placing at the Olympia stands in history. And he knows it. That's why he didn't compete this year. And he knows that he's never going to be that good again. I hate to say it. Was he fourth, right?
Yes.
He can't get fourth again. He can't. Because even if he's 100% on, a not 100% Hadi can beat him. A not 100% Derek can beat him. We know an off Samson can beat him. And I don't think I think an off Andrew can beat him too. And now if we get really down to it, he ain't going to beat Martin again. He's just not, because Martin really has a physique that could be Mr. Olympia. And I didn't think so. I saw him interviewed. I was like, this guy's full of shit. But you know what? When you see him, you see the improvements he made, and you see his shape. He has the type of shape. His shape, he can beat Hadi and he can beat Derek. I don't think he'll ever beat Samson if they're all 100% because of the shape thing. But the clavicles. Yeah, he's got a wider clavicles. He's got a small waist. He's got a great ab and thigh. His leg looks really good from the side. He's going to be. It's going to be tough. And what we're going to see is two Mr. Olympias. And I don't wish this, but it's just what I think is going to happen because I really like Derek. But I think this isn't personal. Okay, this is just my professional opinion. I think we're going to see two former Mr. Olympias, both Hadi and Derek, and if Brandon too, if he still decides to compete, that are going to slowly get worked out. They're going to slowly get worked out of the top 3 and 4 and 5. Because if Samson wins again at the Arnold, then you're, again, 2nd and 3rd. And then Martin could move up. And if Martin moves up, then what happens? Then Hadi gets pushed out because Hadi's smaller than Martin. Derek is smaller than Martin. Martin could easily beat those guys. And then you got a Samson, possibly an Andrew, possibly a Martin, and then a Hadi, and then a Derek. They're going to get pushed out just the way it is. And they're Derek has made his body grow. It's unproportionate now. his rear delt bicep is so good, his back is so improved that it makes his arms not look as good. His shoulders, his legs don't look as good.
Right.
The teardrop doesn't look as good. So, I don't know whether it's worth it for him, to be quite honest with you. I think he could probably focus on making money and other things, and not just get beat up. And he's got a, again, family, and he could probably do really well. I don't think he's the kind of person to get caught up in this bullshit to where I got it like Nick, where he's got to prove something to himself. Going back to Nick really quick, I think Nick has got some serious work to do psychologically. I think that this was hard for him. He was at the show. If he decides to compete again and he doesn't do well, I'm going to be worried about his mental state of mind. And another thing that I don't think anybody's realizing is the whole story that him and Mad made was complete bullshit, okay? Because the year that he tore his hamstring, before he tore it, he goes, everything was so great, everything was so smooth. Yeah. Well, if that's so true, then why is it that you need chaos to thrive? Or that whole thing was bullshit, okay? Yeah. Why they said that, I don't know. But I also want you to notice something else. Matt said, this kind of thing can ruin a relationship between a coach and a client.
Yeah,
well, yeah, you didn't hear that?
Yeah,
why did he?
Wow.
Why? What? Now think about that. What does he mean? If Nick can't get it, why are you saying that? Because Nick did something that he didn't approve of. What he's saying is that normally I would drop that guy, but we're still cool. And when he'll get on stage whenever he feels like he can, meaning whenever he gets ready here, that's when we'll see this come back. That's what he's saying. You got to break it down. Body language, the things they're saying, and understand when you replay it and understand what's he saying. What's he really mean? He lied about all these things for what? Right. To say that he's not mad at Nick. It's not that and he's saying that by saying it wasn't me that I'm a great coach, I know what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? His body didn't respond. It's not my fault. And I'm not mad at him. But normally, I would know that he's not following my instructions and we would have a problem. That's what that means. So,
good point.
They're friends, and that's why they didn't expose each other. And that's the right thing to do. They shouldn't expose each other. I don't know if they needed to make up all these stories, but maybe that's what they felt was best to retain his image. I think it made him look worse. Everyone I met, and Dexter being one of, literally, Stan, Curly Top, Dexter, all the guys that know the judging and stuff like that know this shit, okay? They all said that it doesn't make any sense. We would still compete. Even if we were a little bit off or something like that, the last week or so, we would just do it. We were obligated. We did it, right? Yeah, but he doesn't want to get his pride or his ego hurt. And that right there could mean that he's really suffering from depression. And it's possible no one sees it because he paints this facade, the happy Nick face. I don't want to say, but I'm telling you, these are clear signs of clinical depression.
Yeah,
I hope
the demeanor didn't look right. When he's sitting down, like he just didn't. He looked like in glass, like an olive. It's just like
I really hope that he could speak to someone. Yeah. That he could, because he's not getting what he needs from Matt for what he needs. Matt may be able to help him with a lot of other things, but I think he needs some. I don't want. When I say this, I don't mean this in a bad way because I think all of us could benefit from this. But I think he could really use some therapy, and I don't mean this in a negative way. Listen, even if it's just about nothing, maybe it's about a breakup, maybe it's not, whatever. Okay, but I think he needs to talk to someone outside of bodybuilding that he could like confide in, and he doesn't have to feel like they're gonna find out, or they're gonna think bad about me, or they're gonna judge me. To someone he can really open up to. I think he could really help him, and I hope he does. And I also hope at his age that he doesn't get fixated, because the reality is that he placed really high in a year where the competition wasn't as good as it is now, and the level of competition that is here right now, he just does not have the physique to win. He barely beat Martin. Okay, Martin is way better than he was at that show. Nick can't beat him again. Nick can't, and Nick's not going to beat Hottie, and he's not going to beat Derek. I just don't see it. So we're looking at the best possible Nick Walker that could possibly be up there with the rest of them. The biggest Nick, the most shredded Nick, still probably going to be squeaking sixth. Squeaking.
Well, we're going to see what's going on, and this is why we call this the R2F mindset. It's all about here. Nick, if you're watching, we're thinking, we're praying for you. Whatever's going on, hope to see you back on stage, people. All right. So on that note, thank you, Amin. Until next time, we're out.
Have a good one.
You too. And we stopped.